Hello everybody, and welcome once again to Back to the Bench TV. And I'm brought to you here with my two fellow co-hosts, Adam and Joseph. They're joining me to dissect the All-Australian team of 2020, as well as the week one of the final series. And before we get right into it and we crack into the big stuff, we will shout out to a few of our sponsors. First of all, Kebab Cuisine on 241 Bullion Road. Get a juicy fucking kebab from them. He makes a good kebab anyway, so get around him, everybody. And our newly appointed campaignee, George's Angel, running for Prime Minister of Australia. That's it, you heard me correct. Prime Minister of Australia. Forget your Scott Morrison's. You've got George's Angel. He's a cure to coronavirus. He's the saviour for our economy. Watch out, scummo, buddy. I wouldn't be sleeping in your fucking bed sheets if I were you, buddy. Big George's Angel is coming to eat you up. But rightio, guys.
Get started.
Now, All-Australian 2020. Now, I'm sorry, but that's got to be the worst team I've seen in history. Shocking team. Let's get real.
Yes. I do hold the selectors accountable for that poorly selected.
Oh, they're a bunch of clowns.
But you look at the selectors, mate. We got the likes of Cameron Ling, Matthew Richardson, Kevin Bartlett, Luke Darcy. They're not clowns on paper, but what are they doing with that squad? I don't know. It's a fairly poor squad. There was better players out there. We'll start with the back line. So in the back line, we got good old Brad Shepherd. Yeah, he's 11 years in the system. He's a veteran of the game. He's played 200 plus games. He's been there for a while. What do you make of that selection? Well, disposal efficiency was great across. He played 17 games this year, so 82% efficiency this year. Played 18 games. Average disposal 16. Mm-hmm. Great with ball in hand. Loved his kicking. Great kicking efficiency. Yeah. He also attacked off the half-back flank as well, which was good to see. Good attacking, moving on down the line, down the wing. It was stiff
not to make the premiership team. I felt really bad for him because you look at his resume. He's played every game every year, 20 plus games, and he copped an injury in that qualifying final in 2018, and he missed out unluckily. But carry on. Who was next, Huey?
So we got Harris Andrews at full back. Now Harris Andrews speaks for himself. Second on the ladder, the Brisbane Lions finished. Definitely well deserved that down at full back. Probably one of the best one-on-one players in the comp, no doubt. Mm-hmm. I reckon Wiedering was a bit stiff for that full-back position, but coming up against the likes of Harris Andrews, you can't really, go on about that. Like, Harris Andrews takes the spot fair and square there.
That qualifying final showed it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, he's very efficient with ball in hand. So I went at 87% efficiency, averaged 11 disposals, did his job down there, down the back line for the Lions. So at the other back pocket, we got Luke Ryan. Mm-hmm.
Former VFL boy. Was it Williamstown? No, was it VFL? Was it? Yeah, VFL he played. I thought it was Waffle. No, VFL. Okay.
Yeah, very consistent season for Luke Ryan. Averaged 19 disposals throughout his
short
17 games. What was that?
Short in quarters as well.
Exactly right. Yeah, and went at 84% efficiency. So yeah, well deserved spot for him. Nick Haynes. Now,
I love Nick Haynes. I reckon I have a lot of respect for him.
I do as well. He's great intercept mark. Does his job down back for the Giants. But I was looking at like the likes of Jack Crispin, Maynard.
You'd put more of a smaller player in that position, would you? Not a key position, because Haynes, he's tall. He's a key position. You look at that team though. You got your key pillars in Moore and Andrews. You need your third tall interceptor.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's how it goes?
I guess so. When you look at intercept marking, he's the man to go. He probably, definitely over like a Maynard and Chris Adam.
Probably in terms of intercept marking.
So where's the run coming from that back line though?
That's what I'm wondering.
You've got Brad Shepherd, who's got that run, but does he have more? Are you telling me that Darcy Byrne-Jones has more run and dash there than Maynard?
I guess that's why they've picked him. I don't know. It's a very questionable one, Byrne-Jones.
Anyway, so we'll move on. We've got Darcy Moore. Now, there was a lot of controversy around this one. Should he have made it over Wiedering? Should he have not? So I personally reckon he should have.
Even though he copped 7 goals and Josh Kennedy?
Well, the thing with Darcy Moore is he's not a boring footballer. And that's what fans like to see. He takes the game on. He takes the intercept mark. He plays on. Sets up the play. Whereas like a Wiedering or a Stephen May or a Jonas, what do? Just punch the ball and bring it to ground.
Yeah. But probably that night I was a bit... There's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, I was pissed off Wiedering didn't make it because I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
I want to Khan to have a bit of recognition,
Fair enough.
But like now when the heat goes out of it after the next few days, you start to really think, take bias out of it. Darcy Moore is probably better this year. He's a gun player.
Yeah.
So, good on him.
Yeah, well-deserved centre-half back spot for him. And then at the other back flank, we've got Darcy Byrne-Jones. Now, Port did finish first, so they do deserve some recognition in the back line. So I reckon he does. I don't know if he 100% deserves a spot, but that's not to say that he shouldn't have been in the team.
But would you say Caleb Daniel, he got his rookie spot. I mean, not his rookie spot, his bench spot. With that later. But surely he deserved to start. Deserved to start over.
Oh, look, I'm still looking at the Jack Crisps. I'm still looking at the Maynard.
Exactly.
I personally do think they are a better player than this Darcy Byrne-Jones bloke, but...
There's about 4 or 5 players I can name who are better. Vlosten. Did Vlosten even make the 40-man squad? I'm not sure. I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he
Vlosten,
did.
Grimes, Caleb Daniel.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he did.
Vlosten, Grimes, Caleb Daniel and Maynard. At least 4 players who are better in that spot.
But in saying that, Port did finish first, and you've got to give credit for the back
Yeah,
line. Like,
but-
you don't finish first for nothing. Like,
It's shit because it's...
he's a quality
If you're playing a good team, then you're in there. But like, there's so many other... Even a Luke McDonald had a better season than him. And Also, he
Oh,
to be
Mm.
fair, he's one of those blokes who goes under the radar because no one really watches Port games. They're not a Vic-based club.
Personally, watching Darcy Byrne-Jones, I thought he was a bit of a butcher. He went out like 68% efficiency during the year, averaged about 17 disposals. I personally think he butchered the ball a lot, but that's not to say he shouldn't have deserved his spot. So he did. He's a good one-on-one player, hard nut, rough as nails. Overall, I'll give the backline, the Australian backline, a 7 out of 10.
7.
A 7. Yeah.
All right, we'll move to the midfield. That's for Nick to do.
Yeah, so the midfield now, when I looked at this midfield the other day, now, okay, there's some good names in there, but if you date back to maybe 10 odd years ago, you had players like Judd, Ablett, Dane Swan in that midfield, Pendlebury. They're absolutely champion players of the game for so long. And now you look at it, and taking away nothing from these guys, but Jack Steele, Cam Guthrie, like, these guys don't even deserve to carry Dane Swan and Chris Judd's bags. Like 100% they had good seasons, but it just goes to show how not seriously the All-Australian team is taken these days compared to the previous time.
It's a massive call.
Oh, you can't... Well, what? You're telling me Cam Guthrie and Jack Steele...
You can't degrade Jack Steele's performance this year, though.
Oh, yeah, okay. He deserves to make it,
Did
but
well.
I think the standard of the midfield has dropped.
Oh, yeah, but
since
it's not
10
their
years ago.
fault. It's just
Yeah.
the way the game's changed.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. I'm just saying it's amazing how much the game has changed since that time.
But to be fair, you put Bontempelli, Dangerfield and Dustin Martin in there, who are all forwards this year.
Yeah, okay.
You probably wouldn't be saying that. That's
Yeah.
the thing. That's why I think it's a bit of error they've made.
Oh, you look at the midfield and you compare it to past years, and no doubt it's definitely one of the worst you've seen.
Well, if we speak of the 40-man squad as well, I'm sorry, but Zach Butters, like, okay, he's a good young player, but how does Zach Butters make the 40-man squad and you completely disregard players like Sam Walsh and Bailey Smith, even one of the King brothers from that draft? Like, I'd put Sam Walsh and Bailey Smith over Zach Butters, but then again, you were speaking about earlier, UB, because Zach Butters is in a better team.
Yeah.
Sam Walsh's team finished 11th, Bailey Smith's team finished 7th. They don't even look at them.
But rightly so, though. Like, they deserve that recognition. Their teams performed well. They finished on the top of the ladder. They do deserve that praise. Whereas Carlton, on the other hand, finished 11th. But
Yeah.
what do you reckon about Cam Guthrie? Do you reckon he deserves that spot on the wing?
Yeah, look, he's an experienced player, Guthers. He was always a not a bad player. Like, he kind of, the last few years actually kind of dropped off a little bit, but then this year he's
consistent.
burst out the scene. Him and Menegola.
He stepped up for Joel Sullivan when he went down. So
Travis Boak had a great year, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
Deserves his spot.
he's another one.
vice captain.
Well deserved.
He's another one because he's been the system for so long. It's been 8 years between All Australians for him, so a long time between innings. Thinking about it in 2012, the last time. So it goes to show you what he was 24 when he last made it. People probably thought 2 years ago he was done, he was packing up shop, but he just proved the data wrong.
They've moved him back to the midfield this year.
Exactly,
So-
and people
That's where he
question.
belongs, yeah.
People questioning his age. He actually came out on Fox Footy and said age is just a number for him. So it goes to show you that you can't just look at his profile. You just look at him as the player. He's still an elite player. He's a very big chance for top 3 in the Brownlow this year. We'll see how that unfolds. But I'm a big fan of Travis Boak, and the way he's going, he'll make plenty more Australians. I think he's got a lot of footy left in him. But we speak of those 3 midfielders in the forward line. Can you speak about what are your thoughts on that, Adam?
Oh, I'll move to the forward line to analyse. I think it's a bit of a joke how they're naming midfielders as forwards this year. You can make an argument. Dangerfield is a forward. He goes up forward, kicks a goal, as we saw against the Swans.
or Bont. Maybe Dusty is probably more of a forward, but these guys, when I look at them, they're midfielders. They're probably lining up in the centre bounce at the start of every game, start of every quarter, after most goals. Like you look at a guy like Marcus Bontempelli, right?
Yeah.
The guy, he's a star, but he's had how many goals this year? He's had
11, wasn't it?
11 goals, 7 in 18 games, and 21 disposals.
You can't tell me that's a forward.
You're telling me a guy who's had 21 disposals is a forward, but kicked 11 goals. That's a midfielder. He's a midfielder. Yeah.
The forward line is what like grinded my gears the most about this All-Australian selection.
I'm sorry, but like they hate to have Dusty and Dangerfield out of the team. Yeah, we've got Dangerfield. Dangerfield, the same case. 22 disposals, 12 goals, 16. That's midfield stats. If you haven't 22 over 20 touches this year, you're a midfielder. Mm-hmm. You kicked under 20 goals. You're a midfielder, mate. I'm sorry.
Like Bontempelli's taken the spot of like a Butler or a Papley.
And then we've got a Dusty Martin, 20 touches average and 15 goals, 11.
Okay, Dusty Martin's the one I'll disagree with because he's actually naturally a gun forward as well as a gun midfielder.
I can sort of give leverage for Dusty, but still, he's still a midfielder in my eyes.
And so is Patrick Dangerfield. We've seen him be able to go forward and have an impact down there. But Marcus Bontempelli, come on, he's not a starting forward.
That's what I'm saying. You got guys like Tom Papley.
Yeah.
He did drop off the last 6-7 games, but he still had 26 goals, 27 for the year. That's double Bont. Yeah. And then you also got Dan Butler, 28 goals, 12 for the year. That's also double Bont and almost double Dusty. So you can't tell me these forwards who are naturally in their spot are missing out because of midfielders who have good last names.
Exactly right.
You know? Jeremy Howe actually came out in the media, not in the media, sorry, on Twitter, and he actually let out his thoughts on the whole farcical about midfielders getting picked in the forward line, and they're picking players who are genuinely better. So, like, for example, Bontempelli, he's probably a generally better player than Dan Butler, but he's not a better forward.
No, he's not.
So that's why he's getting picked over him. That's where they've got it wrong this year.
But then we'll move to for the forward line. One thing I can agree with is the key position stocks.
Yeah, no doubt.
Charlie Dixon and Tom Hawkins, probably the best two key forwards this year. Stats don't lie. 33 goals for the year for Dicko. And although Hawkins had his finger up his ass during that qualifying final against Paul, he still had 42 goals for the year. Hopefully he mauls the pies this week because I won't be happy with him. But great selection. And then also Liam Ryan, what a player he is. Probably the best small forward this year. 26 goals, 11 disposals, and a great elimination final against Collingwood.
What would you give the forward line out of 10, Adam?
Forward line, okay. In terms of overall talent, probably like it's probably up there. Like in terms of talent, you got Dusty, Bond.
Yeah,
but that's probably 8-9. But in terms of forwards, yeah, probably 4-5. Exactly.
No, exactly.
4-5.
Give it a 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4. But I think we'll wrap up the All Australian debate. But speaking of Tom Hawkins, who was the Coleman medalist, didn't have his kicking boots on last weekend against the Port Adelaide Power. Kicked 0 goals 5, including 1 out on the full. And arguably, you could argue, UB, no Hawkins, no Geelong.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Like, look, they got
Hawkins, no Geelong. You reckon? Ooh.
What do you reckon?
I mean, Gary Rowland didn't really step up that game, did he? How many did he have?
Yeah, look, Gary Rowland, he's never going to be a big number player, but the one thing you can guarantee with Gazza is he'll give 110% every game. He runs his ass off.
Exactly right. Yeah, I don't want to be that one to say no Geelong, no Hawkins, no Geelong, because you look at Geelong's list and you look at stars like Dangerfield, Ablett, Sarwood, the list goes on, Guthrie. Like you don't look at Geelong and think they're a one club player. Like they've got so much depth, got so much talent. So you don't look at them and think, one bloke stuffed up their game. So I'm not going to say that no Hawkins, no Geelong, but he'll definitely bounce back. He's proven to be an influential player for him down the forward line. He's Coleman medalist for a reason. So no doubt he'll bounce back. It's not like he's not getting his hands on the footy. He just didn't convert the goals.
Yeah, exactly right.
It
just goes to show, Geelong really do choke in finals. And Hawkins is a good example. Like a guy who's kicking bags all year to go into the final to not kick a goal at all. Yeah. And 6 behinds was it?
Yeah. Do you think it's a mental thing or?
It definitely is a mental thing. What else is it? You're winning how many games? You're winning top four spot every year.
Maybe they're not tough enough for finals.
It's nothing but a mental thing. They've won 4 out of their past 12 finals since 2011.
Exactly.
But maybe they're similar to Giants because Geelong are known for pretty nice football, good skills, nice run.
beautiful football. But in finals, you're not going to get that. The intensity rises to a whole new level. So is it maybe the finals impact, or is it mental?
Maybe it's Chris Scott. You never know. Like, people can come out and say Chris Scott, premiership coach, but the reality is that 2011 team could coach themselves. You got bloody Joel Selwood, Jimmy Bartel, Steve Johnson, mate. They're just a ridiculous team. Good on him, but mate, the job was half done. So
yeah. I look at it and the stats don't lie. Since 2011, they've got a 25% win record in finals, 16 games played and just 4 wins. So the stats don't lie. And they're known for finishing top 4 and choking in prelims and semis. Happened last year, 2017, 2014. They bombed out in the semis against North. So it's definitely happened consistently since Chris Scott's been there. But we will talk about Port Adelaide. Now, fucking hell, can they go all the way?
Well, don't see why not. It's set up for them to win another final in Adelaide Oval with all their fans. They finished first. People doubted them, but like they're showing they're the real deal at the moment.
Oh, I don't see why not. Proven to be rank 1 in comp, so they've shown it all year. I don't see why not.
Because
Brisbane, there's still Brisbane and Richmond to beat. So.
And also with that, Charlie Dixon wasn't firing either. Imagine when he fires.
Yeah, exactly.
That's to show they can do damage.
Because I actually said earlier in the year, I actually thought they'd drop off because not only they're a young side, young list, but they're actually known to be chokers, Port Adelaide. I remember a few years ago they choked top 4, then they bombed out in the finals against West Coast when Luke Shuey kicked the winner. They bombed out top 8, I think it was 2 years ago. But they completely proved me wrong. They beat Richmond at the back end of the season, and now they're absolutely firing.
I want to say one thing.
Experience, you can't say they don't have experience.
I just want to say one thing. The start of the year, in February, Ken Hinkley came out and said, I believe this side can go all the way and win the flag. We've got the talent now. We've got the list profile.
Yeah.
And everyone came out and said, this bloke, he's got no idea. Like
people laughed at him.
But like he must have really seen something brewing there because all year they've been top. They've won their first final. So yeah.
I thought they went too hard too early in the start of the season. I thought there's no way they're going to be able to sustain this for 17 rounds.
Everyone's been, criticising them, but they just stuck to their guns and just kept winning.
Yeah. And as we spoke about Boak, he stepped up this year. I got like Tom Jonas, bloke's built like a fucking mammoth. Who would have thought that he'd come out and be All-Australian 40-man squad this year? He wasn't a well-known player.
He's done it before, I'm pretty sure.
And you just look at him and you just look at their defence and they got guys like Cleary. No one knows him, but he does his role. He'll take intercept marks off the back line. We spoke about Darcy Byrne-Jones, provides that run off the half back line. I really like how their team's set up. They got a lot of veterans too. Robbie Gray. But we'll speak of other star teams now. We got the Flying Brisbane now. That's another team that's really proved the doubters wrong. They've actually come out of nowhere. Literally 2 years ago, they finished bottom 2. Last year,
second last on the ladder.
Last year they finished.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Last year they finished top 2. And Chris Fagan, he's like that father figure for that team. You see him on the sidelines. He's got so much passion. The players play for him.
He's all about culture.
Yeah. And we spoke to Matt Bain on the podcast, and he actually manages Jared Berry, another young star for the Brisbane Lions, up and coming future captain. And he said they got a really good culture brewing at the Brisbane Lions. Great people, some great passion, hard working, driven players. And he said there's no secret when you get good players on your list, it's bound to happen. What do you make out of them, Adam?
Brisbane, they've come a long way. They were basket case a few years back, and now they're just got a great coach, Fagan through the door, Chris Fagan. And obviously some great recruits, Lachie Neale, who'll win the Brownlow easy, I think. Charlie Cameron, probably one of the best small forwards in the comp. And then you got your Harris Andrews, your McCluggages. Ken McCarthy.
Lincoln.
No, Lincoln, that's right.
Lincoln McCarthy, yeah. But and then Luke Hodge as well. No doubt he did wonders for them.
Because I was going to say, Fucking I've gone blank now. Lachie Neale. So he didn't get his first disposal till halfway through the second quarter.
And he got 9 the game.
It goes to show you they don't have to rely on a star like Neale to play well.
That's what
they're a team. They're a collective. They're a collective bunch of individuals. They play together. They don't need a gun like Neale to be firing for them to be winning.
They've got their Jared Lyons, Berries, McGluggages to step up. So these players are in their third.
Mitch Robinson's
like Berry and McGluggage. They're in their third, fourth years, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're entering in that, like, you know, their peak seasons. Their peak youth season. So.
Hugh McGluggage kicked the sealer. Kicked 8 goals, 21
He's
for the year.
one of the best one of the best on, I reckon.
Oh, I reckon they
Hugh
can go all
McGluggage.
the way. I reckon the Lions go all the way.
Oh, well, yeah, it's all set out for them as well.
It's all set up for
They're
them.
not leaving Gabba.
No, exactly, yeah.
So,
Honestly, why not?
it's all
Everything's
cozy.
well for 'em.
They're getting their leg massages up in the Gabba and at home.
Then we got Richmond.
Yeah.
So obviously they won the last 2 flags the last 3 years. Minor premiers in 2018.
They're still in the hunt.
This year, top 4.
You never write off a champion team. Never.
So you don't think they're done yet, Yubi?
No way.
Can I just say, this Richmond team right now reminds me of Hawthorn 2015.
Yeah.
When Hawks 2015, they were going for that third flag, that third flag for their three-peat. Bit different for Richmond, but for their third flag in 4 years. They've lost their first final, but it's sort of another hurdle to jump to bring the hunger back in the team.
Yeah.
They'll win this week against the Saints.
It reminds me of Hawthorn 2015.
And they gave up some dumb free kicks, like Marlene Pickett gave away a 50.
Yeah.
A few things didn't go their way. Shai Bolden kicked a goal from the angle. It
Scraped
scraped.
the post.
It scraped the bloody leather of the post.
Did you think the technology has ruined the sport in general?
In general,
Yeah.
look, due to nowadays, technology is obviously advanced. Worldwide in general, not just sport. It's been implemented in many sports. We've seen obviously in the Premier League.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate between VAR. I think
Takes away
that's
the human error in
I
the
think
game.
that's over the top VAR. They literally check every little millimeter. But in terms of AFL, like that, they're not as precise with their goal technology as Premier League is.
I still think they'll win the flag, Richmond.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah, just still back them in.
Yeah. I don't know. It's out of them or Brisbane, I think.
When's Tom Lynch coming back, or is he coming back for him?
They missed Tom Lynch. They missed that prick. Look, he should be suspended, to be honest.
Fuck you, mate.
He should be. How does Ben Long?
I'm sorry, but some of the things he does on the field, mate.
No, there's no doubt about it.
They really grind my gears.
Look, he's a prick and he knows it. But
Yeah, he's one of those
he's very
guys.
crucial to that forward line, mate.
He's one of those guys, like, he's a wanker, but he knows he's a wanker.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
at least he can admit it. He knows.
Dude,
Like,
he's like a Papley or a Maynard.
Yeah,
Like, he's a fuckwit, but he goes to bed knowing he's a fuckwit.
yeah, he knows it.
Yeah.
He'll say, "Hey, mum, hey, dad, I'm a fuckwit."
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So they need him back twice if they're going to win the grand final. Yeah?
well, I looked at that game and the amount of inside 50s Richmond had. Jack Real just kept on like getting
Mate.
plummeted to the ground.
Jack, how old is he now? 31, 32?
32.
32. Oh,
Mickey-
mate, he needs his good old mate
Tommy
Lynch
Lynch.
to come step up for him, take a few pluckers down
Yeah.
there.
Mickey Greyhairs Moldhouse said he's finished a few weeks ago.
Oh, fuck that prick.
And then he's still kicking bags.
He's kicking goals, but he needs his little
He
mate.
needs support, mate. Like any forward, he needs support.
Mick Marlis needs to retire, mate. He needs to go to a fucking retirement home.
Nursing home,
He's done, mate.
get his cereal fed to him.
Yeah, get his brain checked. But
If the Tigers don't get back Lynch, I can't see him in the grand final.
look, how many times has Lynch
Painful.
escaped suspension this year? Was it 3?
At least 5 times, I reckon.
Far out. If your name's Tom Lynch, do what you want, honestly. But we
Move on.
speak of a player who did get suspended, and that was from St Kilda. That was Longy Boy. He had a big hit on McRae in that game. St Kilda versus Brisbane.
No, Bulldogs actually, mate.
Sorry, St Kilda versus Bulldogs. Sorry,
Fuck
my
me,
bad.
Nick.
It was a 3-point nail biter, and
Who wrote
the
these?
Saints were. The Saints were actually on fire all
They
game.
were. They dominated the game. There were 26 points in front at one stage in the third, I'm pretty sure.
Geary kicked one with 10 minutes to go. 22 points up they were, and then Bulldogs got a few cheap free kicks. Caleb Daniel copped one.
Can't say I watched the game.
You didn't watch it?
No.
Well, Caleb Daniel, he copped one, a free kick, high tackle, about 15 metres out. Put him within 3 points. Saints just hold on, and speaking of that, it's just big disappointment for a guy like Paddy Ryder. He was absolutely bogged that game. Took so many big marks, and he did his ankle within the last minute. You saw him crying after the game. But honestly, if I was a Bulldogs fan, I'd be slightly frustrated and a little bit disappointed. Not in the fact that just because they lost the game, but there's a little bit of confusion because since the 2016 flag, I should say, they haven't really replicated that form. They finished 7th this year, 7th last year. So what do you make out of the 2016 flag? Was that a fairy tale? Was that just a fluke? What do you reckon, Yubi?
I reckon that was a fairy tale season for the Dogs.
Fuck, I thought it was.
And they finished 7th on the ladder. They were the underdogs going into that finals. They had all the momentum going in, winning against Hawthorn.
West Coast.
They won against
No pressure, mate.
They won against West Coast over there. That's
Yeah.
right. Then they beat Hawthorn in the MCG.
And they beat the Giants in the
beat
prelim.
Giants in Sydney. So they had all the momentum going into that grand final against Sydney. and it was a fairy tale for him. And they did have a hangover season in 2017, so they've never been able to replicate that form in 2016 since. So, was it a fairy tale to answer your question? Yeah, it was.
Well, you look at their ladder positions the past 5 years. 2015, they finished 6th. 2016, 7th. They missed 2 years on finals in 2017 and 18. Last year they finished 7th and then 7th again this year. So they've never really kind of got past that top 4 barrier.
They're just that mid-finals team.
Yeah.
Like that 7th to 8th.
They've never really been that top 4 team.
No. Yeah.
And you look at, they got so much talent on their team, but they haven't really delivered. I think their forward line's an issue.
Yeah, they got a few holes.
Yeah,
they're a unique team.
You got Josh Bruce full forward, then you got some Murrays, mate.
Yeah. And Big Dicko Dixon retired.
You got Norton, but Norton's still young, so they got him to look forward.
Yeah, Norton will be a good player. But anyway, we'll cross over to the thriller over in Perth, West Coast versus the Pies. Now, what the fuck did happen that game? Like, they had their back against the wall. People were saying they're dirty Pies. They have to quarantine for a week. They have to travel. They got pumped by the West Coast Eagles. Prior in the season by 11 goals. What do you make out of that? Did you reckon they only won because they had their backs against the wall? Or?
Oh, fuck oath, mate. Of course, mate. Okay, no, I'm not taking anything away from that. But Collingwood being the underdogs all week, or actually all 2 weeks, in fact, week and a half. People were saying Collingwood no chance. They got to quarantine in hotels for 7 days. They got to go to WA with no crowd support. They got to do this. West Coast smashed them last time by 50 points at the same stadium. Kane Corns fucking said all his garbage, and guess what? Collingwood just took it on the chin and said, okay, we'll play fearless, nothing to worry about. We'll pull that kick off in the centre. My check, we'll take that shot on goal.
Yeah.
Because if we lose this, who's going to care?
Exactly.
We're not expected to win.
Exactly right.
And they did that, and look what happens. But taking nothing away from it.
They thrive off it, mate. They thrive off the bullshit.
Nothing away from it. Great win. They played very well. They probably played better than West Coast. I'll admit that. And
this Mason Cox prick does my head in. Like, all right, mate, you're a good marker of the footy. You're about 7'5". You're a good kick, I'll give him that. But do you have to act like a wanker every time you kick a goal? Like, come on, buddy.
He acts like he's God's gift of forward every time he kicks a goal.
I hate how they call him Coxzilla.
Yeah.
A guy like that, I'm sorry, no disrespect to you, Coxie, but Cox. No disrespect, mate, but you do not deserve a nickname like Coxia.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were a good forward, I would call you that. But
he's got a straight kick. Let's be honest.
That's disrespectful to the average everyday forwards.
But UB asked you, like, you see a guy like Mason Cox. He didn't know what the game was 5 years ago. He just joined footy. Hasn't been playing for long, and he got such a straight kick and set shot.
Isn't it?
Well, what's the reason for that? What do you reckon?
I'll tell you the reason now. It's because he came from America, right? He had no idea about this game before he landed here. And as soon as he landed here, the Pies brought him over and they taught him the basics. He didn't learn this bullshit stuttering that, like, us Australians have grown up looking at, like the Josh Kennedys, for example.
Or the wheel around kick.
Or the wheel around kicks, those little dinky kicks at goals.
Buddy Franklin kicks.
He learnt the proper technique. His follow through is great. Everything about his technique. He's found a technique that's worked for him and it's proven to work.
He's a robot, mate. He's a robot.
Exactly right. It's a 4-step run up. Yeah, keeps it low. The main thing is it sails through for a goal.
So essentially, you're saying that because
he hasn't learned the bullshit on the side.
So essentially, you're saying that because he hasn't adopted the kicking mannerisms from an early age, he hasn't developed the bad habits as other players did as kids.
Yeah,
that's why he's a good kick now.
I'm telling you, that's exactly right. That's exactly why.
Same as Irishman too, like Zach Tui and stuff. He's got a beautiful kick on him, and he just started playing the game 10 years ago. So I think it's definitely something to take notice of. I think that's definitely a reason why. But West Coast, they're a very underachieving team. I'm sorry, like with their team they have, Adam, like they should be making prelims, grand finals, if not winning flags. Like I understand they won a flag 2 years ago, but they lost a semi-final last year and an elimination final this year. Where do you see them going?
I think I said the other day. I think I said to you, they should be competing for grand finals every year around that mark. I think I counted in their team. They got 10 All-Australians in their team, and that's not including Luke Shuey or Dom Sheed, because they haven't made an All-Australian yet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much 12 All-Australians by talent in that team. So they should be doing better than, losing first week finals, you know what I mean?
But they brought in a lot of players underdone. They had like McGovern coming in.
Yeah, Luke Shuey wasn't fit. No way he was fit.
No.
Who else came in?
Dom Sheed. He didn't look that fit either. McGovern looked fit to me, but
I thought he played well.
Luke Shuey, he couldn't. I noticed it was.
I would have liked to see
he's blowing up hard
more for Shuey.
Cal, yeah.
I don't think he had the best game on the weekend. I would have liked to see him step up more given Shuey's circumstance with his injury. But
got
the
tagged out
Eagles-
by Greenwood.
Yeah, but the Eagles, their premiership window is still open, no doubt. I reckon they've got another 2-3 years. 2-3 years
I'll give
for
them
us to scam. Yeah, I'll give them another 2-3, but to snag another one. But so
Like they got the team is no question there. Like the team is fine. It's they
Amazing.
want to flag with this team. It's it's an amazing team. Like every spot on the field is covered great. So it's just another year next year. They get back up and go again.
And not only that, they're an absolute powerhouse of a club. I think 100,000 members in the system. I think the most in the AFL at the moment, as we speak, ahead of Richmond. So just not only they're a great team, but they're a massive club. So yeah, I can see them sticking around for
They're a bit piss weak mentally though. Like they can't handle the hubs.
Yeah, you could
They had a
argue
bit
that.
of a sook about that.
Flat track boys.
Every other club was fine with it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You won't get every game in WA, guys. So
But that just about wraps up the All-Australian review as well as finals. Thanks everyone for listening in, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.
see you,
See you guys.